feel? Have your stances on them potentially playing on Sunday changed after today?
I think everyone's been improving every day.
How was practice today out in the elements? Did you feel like you guys had a good sharp practice?
Yeah, I did. It was good. Not quite as cold as it's going to be, but I think it was good to get out there. Last day outside for us, and players embraced it and had a good attitude about it. And it was a good practice.
Jamar and T said they were hoping to practice inside, and Joe said no. Does it come down to Joe's decision? I know it's yours as well, but if Joe says, "Hey, I want to practice outside,"
I wanted to practice outside today, and so we were outside today.
This is about the time last year you had 1 week later you went to UC. Is it times like these though that it is good? Tomorrow you have opportunities like that to go inside. And also,
Absolutely.
What has the bubble meant? Indoor facility.
Indoor facility.
In the course of the season?
It's been great, and really a big difference is just the walkthroughs. We get such good work in our walkthroughs, and to not deal with the elements and be able to be in there has been great. Our energies on Fridays, red zone days, has been great in there. So it's been a great thing for us to have. We've really had it as soon as it got cold is when it really, was built, and so I know that we all appreciate it.
I mean, how much do you stress as a staff, like guys or unit, spending time with each other away from the facility, just hanging out, doing whatever as a unit? How much do y'all stress that, and how important is that for the team success, you think?
I think the camaraderie is important for the team to feel connected. I see guys, and I think half our team lives here. I play a day off. They're in here playing ping pong. They're in here playing cards, hanging out more than any team I've ever been around. So I think these guys genuinely just like being around each other. And when you don't have to mandate that, which we would not do, but it's a good thing for them to just genuinely want to be around each other. Now I'm not talking about position groups together. I'm talking about guys across the ball, guys across position groups. I think we got a really connected team that way.
How does that really quantify though into like on-field performance? What's the correlation?
Well, it's easier to build guys up. It's easier to play for the guy next to you when you genuinely like the guy and respect what they're about, respect how they play, and they go about their business, and it's just easier to pick up the guy next to you when that's the case.
Why do you think, Zach, this team never makes a game bigger than it actually is? Like, the game isn't too big for them.
Just understanding the routine is so important for week to week. The build-up is really outside our building in terms of the magnitude of these games. For us, we're walking onto grass to go play a team. It's going to be a loud environment, but for us, that's what it comes down to is let's put in a good 7 days of work, and let's go out there against a good team and put our best foot forward and let everybody else make of it what they want to make it. Yeah, we understand that there's an AFC championship on the line, but our guys generally don't feel the pressure because of that. It's just let's get ready for this game. Let's go out there, put our best foot forward, and if we play great, then we're going to have a great chance to win.
Going back to the camaraderie topic, you said you wouldn't mandate hanging out with each other outside the building, but is that something you encourage, or how do you feel like that kind of develops?
Well, certainly it's helpful. Take offensive line, for example. For those guys to be connected and live together, and you want that. You can't. It's hard if you say, "Hey, you got to do this." Then it's not a genuine bond you're building. But you want guys that feel like they need that bond and that chemistry and want to hang out together. And I hear that on the plane all the time. Guys, when we land, they're going to go hang out together at somebody's house, and that's encouraging for me. But it's helpful as a team again to connect like that. And it's appreciated when I see guys, enjoying each other in the locker room and playing ping pong and playing cards, and I'm excited about that.
Tony Romo on the broadcast said that Joe Burrow came up with 2 new silent counts.
2 new what?
Pre-snap silent
Oh,
counts.
gotcha. Okay.
Is that normal for a quarterback to add to that late in the season?
Yeah. Yeah. I think for him and Ted, they drive that communication, and there's always wrinkles that you add. And really, the great teams I've been a part, Rams, similar. Those guys are always thinking they're in the battle deeper than we are in terms of what the other team's catching on to or what they need to be able to attack at a better level. So I've got a lot of trust that when those two guys make a statement that, hey, this will help us, and as long as we do a great job with it in practice, then let's utilize it. And so is it uncommon for a lot of teams? I don't know, but the 2 last teams I've been on, that's pretty common for the quarterback in the center to say, hey, we need this to help us, and let's practice it and make sure it's utilized the right way.
Can you describe Tyler Boyd's impact that he's had here?
He just consistency throughout bad times and good times. We always say we want players that we know what to expect when they walk in the door every day, and TB's been that guy for us. And obviously, my first 2 years here were very difficult. We didn't win many games. He always came in with a positive attitude. He always led the right way. He always practiced the right way. He always helped bring people along and bring people up. And I always knew that I could trust honest feedback. If I asked him a direct question that I needed a response on, he was always honest with me. And so I've just always appreciated that about TB. And then here he gets to reap the benefits of, back-to-back AFC Championship games. And that's just, you always have a soft spot for guys like that were with you through thick and thin and get to reap the rewards and are still the same guy that they were when you got here. That's awesome to see from TB.
I know you said that Joe Burrow's always been the same guy since he got here. Like you said, he hasn't progressed because he hasn't needed to. But what does it say that he can command the locker room without having to give like a rah-rah speech where he gets that attention and his performance just shines off on everyone in the locker room?
That's just respect. That's when guys lead by example, and guys know they have potential and they've shown the ability to reach that potential. And then when they speak, people are going to listen to them. And I think that's just a respect thing from the team of they appreciate the work that he puts in, and he doesn't speak all the time. And so when he does, there's a lot of value to it, and guys listen to it and respond to it the right way.
What differentiates the way Joe sees a football field compared to most other quarterbacks?
He sees all 22 faster than most, and that's why he's able to play at the level he does. There's plenty of things he sees well before I would. I obviously can't do what he does. Nobody can. But that's why he operates at a different level. He starts with protections. It starts with, coverage looks, where he's got all those little tells where he can just, take a pretty good shot at what they're going to be in, and if not, he's already got his response of where he's going to go with the ball, and so he's able to play really fast that way because he can see the whole field. And again, that's the preparation that leads into the game, and then he's able to play really fast when he walks out there on the field.
As a quarterback, how much of that do you think someone's born with, and how much is honed and developed?
There's certainly an understanding I'm sure he's had well before others. His dad's a football coach. He's exposed to that at a much younger age than most, and so you're able to build probably a foundation. Maybe it's an advantage you got. You're able to build a little bit quicker foundation, and he's played under some really good systems and some really good programs to help build upon that foundation. And he's also got his process that wherever that started from or came from is a really good process that he follows, and so he puts himself in the best position to do it. And I don't know all the ins and outs of why he's special that way. I don't. But he's put himself in a position to be able to execute at a high level all the time.
Do you feel like you've added a layer to the foundation? And what would that be?
We try to help as best we can. We're resources for him. We can't give you all the information. There's not enough time in the week to go over every single film clip from every game of the season. That's on the quarterback at some point to make sure he's doing his own work to be ready for the game. But we want him to understand the intent of the plan and why we want to do things. He's got input in that. There's great value to that. And then he's expected to go out there and operate at a high level. And so, again, we do everything we can to make sure that he knows he's put in the best position. And then there's the dialogue that takes place to make sure that we get there on Sunday.
The relationship with Joe and Dan Pitcher,
Mm-hmm.
kind of guys have similar personalities. I don't know if you,
Those two guys, say that again?
those two guys have kind of similar personalities, don't they? They seem to kind of,
Yeah.
really get along.
They have a great relationship. Dan Pitcher does an excellent job in that room. And, I've always said this, Dan is in there the most. Dan is with those quarterbacks more than anybody else. And there's a lot of trust there on my end and Brian's end to allow that to happen. Dan has earned that over the years. And I know that he's got Burrow's trust as well. And then Brian's in there quite a bit as well. He's probably the second layer. And then I'm in there the least. And all those guys, I think Joe would answer this better than me, but I can sense the respect that he's got for Dan and for Brian, and the value and the input they have in that room. And he certainly respects when they talk ball. I believe he's got a high level of respect for both those guys.
What makes you quarterbacks, coach?
You've got to be able to see it like they do. I believe that. Put yourself into their shoes as best you can, even if you haven't operated at that level that they have to. I think that there's a respect there. Not all the time. I've seen plenty of guys that didn't play the position that are excellent quarterback coaches in this league. It's something that maybe gives you a leg up, a little bit of an advantage to put yourself in that position. But you got to work hard, because those guys typically have a lot of questions that are outside the box, and you better be on top of it. And there's plenty of times where you can say, I don't know, but you don't want to say that too often. You don't want to genuinely say that too often, because maybe you haven't put in the work or not prepared for that response. And the more you're around certain guys, the more you can anticipate what they're looking for and the questions they're going to ask. And so you can prep yourself that way to make sure you've gained that information before that question's asked. And then there's just the honest feedback. There's plenty of times where I would hope that pitch is there as a venting area. Joe may be frustrated with something about me or the team or Brian or somebody, and the quarterback coach has got to be there to be that liaison that you can kind of vent through sometimes, and that's perfectly acceptable. And anytime you're around somebody 7 straight months, 9 straight, 12 straight months, whatever we've been around each other, you got to have that person that you trust. You can kind of get something off your chest and then move forward. And that's a big component in the quarterback room as well, and that's why you see a lot of great quarterbacks kind of have their guy that they lean on in that room, and they've got that trust there, and Dan has certainly been that for Joe.